Hey guys, Lytane here, and games have changed so much over the years, and in many ways haven't changed at all. One of the things that games used to be about is the gameplay. There was never any need for a story. Maybe you'd get a single line, maybe you'd get a paragraph, but that's about it. It was all about that gameplay. Today, games are all about their story, where it gives you context and gives you a reason to play through the game, but I want to have a look at one of those games that harkens back to a bit more of the old school days, where it's very light on story and very heavy on the gameplay. So today I want to have a look at Limbo and see if it's worth it. Limbo is an indie game made by Playdead in 2010 and was one of the flagship indie games that kickstarted the indie revolution that we have seen and are in right now. This, along with Braid, Fez, Super Meat Boy, The Binding of Isaac, and of course Cave Story, all became icons of the indies genre, all for different reasons. In fact, I've already covered The Binding of Isaac before, so you should definitely go and check that out. So let's take a look at Limbo. The story for Limbo is up for interpretation, as there is a very small bit of story conveyed in the game, with most of it being up to you to decide. This can either be good or bad, depending on you personally, and some people love it and others hate it. I like it until the end because I like to know exactly what's going on, but here I can sort of suspend my annoyance. What I do know about the story is that you take control of a boy as he wakes up in a forest in Limbo. Whether he is dead or not is completely up to you. Maybe he is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But he is on a mission to find his missing sister and will stop at nothing to get to her. On his travels he finds other people who both help and hinder him before he comes across a city. Exploring the city and getting past its dangers leads him to the final area, a factory that has its own set of challenges to get through. With death, monsters, and traps, this game will make you ask one question: how low can you go? Oh man, that was a bad Limbo joke, but Limbo is very light in gameplay mechanics, where the boy only has a simple walk or run animation. He can also jump and he can pull objects, and that's about it. Even though these are the only things you can do, the pull does act in a few different ways, where you can pull a box or sometimes you can pull a lever and stuff like that, so the pull does have a little bit more variety to it, but honestly, there's not a whole lot to it. There are a few gameplay mechanics and things that happen around the boy that do change up the gameplay, but honestly, those three core mechanics are what you're going to be with the whole entire game. The game starts off fairly easy as well, with you only having to pull a box in order to get to a higher platform, and as the game goes on, they do get more and more challenging. In fact, I would say devilishly challenging, because even though you get the same three core movements throughout the whole game, it does change it up throughout every puzzle and every area that you go to. They will be throwing new things at you all the time, and it gets progressively harder. So this whole game is a puzzle game, but I like to call it a trial and die game, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You will get to a new screen or puzzle, and most likely you will die trying to figure it out. Now you know what not to do next time, so you can try something else to get past this puzzle. I also call it a trial and die game because there are some puzzles that you will just die on because that's how they are designed. While these are a little annoying, it doesn't make you mad, as these are usually at the start of the puzzle, or usually one of the shorter puzzles, so if you do die, you don't lose a whole lot of progress. There's also plenty of checkpoints in the game, with each of them being the start of a puzzle, so you aren't put very far back in the game if you do die. Now, while this game does have some boxes and traps to push and pull around, it does get crazy fairly early on when you meet this giant spider. It is honestly the scariest thing in this game, because it's so huge and it's so menacing, and the music picks up and it's just absolutely crazy. It is the biggest threat in the game up until this point, and you can't help but notice it and go, holy crap, how am I going to get away from this thing? It is incredibly insane. I do love the reveal of the spider, and I do love all of the sequences with it. And as you can see, this game offers, even though it's only got the push-pull jump mechanics, now you have to get away from a spider and you have to think on your feet of how to do so. Later on in the game, there's also other hazards that you have to get past, like electricity that turns on and off, or even changing gravity. So this game keeps it fresh by introducing new mechanics throughout the entire game. One thing that I absolutely love about a puzzle game is when there are multiple solutions to the same puzzle. Now, some of the easier ones, of course, only have the one solution, but the later better puzzles actually do have that more than one idea, and I love that. So you could be stuck on an idea or stuck in a puzzle and you figure out how to do it in some absolutely crazy way. Then you either watch a friend play or you watch it on YouTube or something like that, and they solve it in such a simple, mundane way, and you go, wow, why didn't I think of that? Or it could be the other way around, where they solve it in a crazy way and you solved it in the boring, mundane way. Either way, I always enjoy that there is a breathing room for these puzzles, that they're not just the set in stone, you have to do it A, then B, then C, then D in order to get through it. There is this moldability to the game, where if you figure out a way to get through it, then by all means, get through it in that way. You're not bound by the absolute rules of the game, which is such a good thing. With a good set of puzzles and easy controls, the main thing that you will notice about the game are the graphics. This has such a unique and great graphical look to it with its heavy noir feel. Black, white, and grey are pretty much the only colours on the screen at any time, and it is more than enough to be beautiful and convey everything that you need to see. The backdrops have this nice faded effect that adds a lot of depth to each of the areas that you visit, and some have more detail than others, but honestly this is one of the reasons why it became an icon. The sheer beauty and style of this game is just absolutely amazing. The one bad thing about this game is that it is fairly short. You can probably finish it in about 3 or 4 hours, depending on how good you are at these puzzles and how much thinking you have to do in order to get past them. Also, because the puzzles don't change and they'll be the same every time you play through it, there isn't much of a need to replay this game, unless of course you're going for the achievements. Now, throughout the game there are these hidden eggs in lots of different locations. I think there's 5 of them that have these hidden eggs in a puzzle that you have to get to in a very specific and strange way. Some of them are easy, like the very start of the game is just, instead of walking right like you're supposed to, you walk left, and then you find an egg. So that's pretty cool. You think about it in a different way, and the fact that these designers realized that you could break the game in a certain way or break the level, and they reward you by putting this like little egg there, I think that's really cool. This added a lot of fun to my second playthrough of the game, because you're trying to get to these eggs and get to these things, and it changes the entire objective of the game. I didn't care about getting to the end of it and solving all the puzzles. I already knew how to do that, but getting to these eggs was a whole other challenge. It was just a lot of fun. Also, if you were crazy enough, you can go for the hardest achievement in this game, which is called No Point in Dying, which is finish the game in less than 5 deaths. It is incredibly hard to do so, but I have done it, and I'm very proud of it. The last thing I want to mention is the soundscape for this game. While there is very little music, the atmosphere that the game has is incredible. The sounds all make sense and help you get sucked into a world, from just the footsteps to the subtle sound cues of a rolling boulder coming for you. It is all well done. The music is more used to emphasize a point rather than just be there in the background like most other games, and it all adds to the artistic beauty of this game, and something that, when experienced as a whole, really sucks you in. In my opinion, I think that Limbo is worth it. It is such an amazingly beautiful and artistically great game. The style of this game is amazing, the noir feel to it is amazing, the fact that these puzzles are so well made and that there's room for growth and opportunity for you to solve them in multiple ways is so entertaining. The fact that it isn't a very long game as well means that you won't get too frustrated if you do get stuck on a puzzle. You can solve it, you definitely can if you just put some time and effort and thought into it. And then when you finish the game, it is so rewarding because it's like, yes, I have finished it. While it is a little bit annoying with that story because there barely isn't any, it's also consistent throughout the entire game. There isn't like an opening dialogue, there's no screen prompts or anything like that. It is just, you are in this world, go and solve these puzzles, which is actually a really nice idea. So by the time you get to the end, the story was never the focus. It just has this part of the story at the end, which kind of annoys me because you want more, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why they made it like this. You want more. So guys, tell me what you thought about Limbo. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is the fact that it's got light story and that ending, oh gosh, did it frustrate you like it frustrated me? Because damn it, it did. It really frustrated me. But still, I quite enjoy the game. And should I play Inside? I'm pretty sure it's called Inside. I don't remember anymore, and I actually said it in the video, but who cares, whatever. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. One thing that I absolutely love about puzzle. One thing that I love about puzzle games. Puzzle. Do you want to solve a puzzle with me? It's 500 pieces.